So I guess I did miss a couple neutrals. I have those as well as the mage cards here for you. So we'll start off by finishing off the neutrals. We got the Crater Gator, a 4 mana, 5/4 beast. Battle cry until the start of your next turn. The enemy hero can't be healed. I don't think it's that great. Maybe you play it when they have a big lifesteal minion on board or something like that, and you have to wait one more turn to hit a twisting nether or whatever the hell the card might be. But I don't think preventing them from healing is necessarily going to be that amazing. There could be times when there's something that pops up in the meta, like Warlock, wants to do some pain stuff, and all you have to do is prevent them from not healing that, and then you can get, the last bit of burn you needed to finish them off or something like that. But oh no, don't think this is a crazy card by any means. Next up, we got a 3 mana 5/5, the Petrified Ogre. We're all familiar with these ogres. They start dormant, or this one does anyway. This one starts dormant. While dormant, gain +2/+2 at the end of, at the start of your turn. 50% chance to wake up instead. So that 50% chance gimmick that the ogres have. They got two heads, always at odds with each other. But yeah, this is pretty bad. This might gain a bunch of stats and then wake up 8 turns later. Not super likely. It's a 50-50, right? So more often than not, you'll get like one buff, then wake up, or just wake up right away. But it doesn't have rush or anything like that. So it just dies before it can do anything, most likely, especially if it's large enough. People are just going to kill it basically instantly. Next up, the Primal Sabertooth. It is a 4 mana, 5/3 beast with stealth. And after this attacks and kills a minion, get a copy of it. This is a good arena card. I don't think it sees constructed play, but maybe there's times when you might get something good from your opponent on this. I just don't see it being consistent or able to live to get that attack. I mean, there's AoEs that deal 3 to all. So yeah, I don't see this being very impactful. But sometimes it will get a good card for you, just not consistently by any means. Next up, we have the Pterodax Egg. It's a 3 mana 0/3. Death Rattle summon a 3/3 Pterodax that steals health from all other minions. This is pretty cool, in my opinion. Especially you get some double Death Rattle stuff going. Maybe with that Warlock Taurus card that doubles your Death Rattles and kills this instantly, right? So you get two of them it's a 2 damage AoE to the enemy's board, whatever you might be doing. They could fit in Hunter pretty decently. I mean, if the enemy has two 1/1s on board, right, and this breaks, or you break it or whatever happens, this steals the 2 health, so you get a 3/5 that killed a couple of 1 health minions. So it's not terrible. It's not quite like the one they currently have. I don't know if that egg costs 2 or 3, but Hunter has that egg that summons a 3/5 that attacks immediately. So it's not quite as good as that, I don't think, on at a base level, but this, I guess, could potentially have a higher ceiling with, getting. I mean, in theory, you could get there's 7 minions on the opponent's side and 6 others on yours. This breaks, steals 13 health, so it'd be a 3/16. Not that that's necessarily the scariest thing in the world, unless you're playing priest and they give us I think it's Inner Fire that does that one, right? That gives you the attack equal to the health. But, all in all, it's a decent egg card. Could see something pop up in a Death Rattle deck. Follow that up with the Ancient Raptor. 2 mana, 2/1 beast. Battle Cry. Choose to gain +3 attack, Divine Shield, or Death Rattle will summon 2 plants. It's an okay card. I, again, think more of an arena card. The Divine Shield's almost never good. It's going to be hard to guarantee that it lives if you give it the +3 attack. The Death Rattle summon 2/1/1 plants is not terrible, right? It's kind of like the Houndmaster in Death Knight, except for you get both your plants at the same time instead of the Reborn Dog. Not terrible, not terrible. Especially for like a neutral. Obviously, that Houndmaster is a class card, so that should be a little bit better. It comes with rush and whatnot. But yeah, this is okay. I mean, maybe if there's extra spots in the B stack and you just have to lower your curve a little bit, something like this wouldn't be too bad. Then we have the Rock Skipper, 2 mana, 1/3 battlecry. Get a 1 cost rock that deals 3 damage. We know those rocks from they were rewards or not rewards, but excavate treasures. The 1 mana rock that you just throw at anything and it deals 3. I think this is s- sneaky good. Um, those rocks were always impactful. Like you didn't hate getting a rock off of your 1 mana excavate. It was never a bad card, right? And you often pay 2 mana for the guy that excavated you uh, that first layer of the excavations, right? So, I mean, this gets you a good card, efficient 3 damage, 1 mana card, right? That you can just kind of fill in your curve with, uh, clear off a 3/3, something like that. Or, potentially this is efficient damage to hit your opponent in the face with. Druid has Elonius. I found the hardest part of getting him to work right now is not having enough cheap spells, right? So you have to throw a file out, and first you have to have that versus this, you can just kind of spam, 1 cost cards. The file is very good, it reduces the cost. But if you don't have that, then all you have is swipes, right? So you have to pay a lot more mana um, to combo, which Druid doesn't tend to have too many issues with, but that's not the point. Next up, 3 mana, 3/2 Stranglevine. Death Rattle, give a random friendly minion a random bonus effect in this Death Rattle. Uh, I don't see this being all that good. Um, it's kind of reminds me a little bit of what's his name? Okay. I don't see this being all that good. We've seen other effects like this. Opponent just kills this one last, and it never passes the death rattle to anything. Sometimes there's a little bit of a, awkward situation where they don't get to dictate that stuff. Maybe the first random bonus effect is rush that you get, and you get some decent trades or something like that. But all in all, I don't see this being all that great unless you can like trigger it a bunch of times or something like that. But I think at that point you'd rather be doing something better. Uh, I don't know. Maybe if like I think what was it, Feign Death that triggered all your death rattles. Maybe you wouldn't mind throwing this in with something like that, just like on a wider board or something along those lines. But I think what you're really trying to do is, you know, with your death rattles is get minions off of them, right? So you want like eggs death rattling and things like that. A new ruby and egg giving you a 4/4, that other one giving you a 3/5 that attacks immediately, whatever it is. I don't see this one really doing anything. Uh, just kind of might give you a keyword that might be impactful, but probably won't be. We got the Whirling Storm Drake here next. It is a 9 mana 8/8 elemental dragon, Russian Wind Fury, Kindred, immune this turn, or gain immune this turn. So if you played an elemental or a dragon on turn 8, you throw this down on turn 9, and you get to clean up basically whatever's on board. Um, I say that, but I mean, there's starships with 30 health coming. So hopefully this cleans up anything on board. I think it's too expensive. I think it's solid if you discover it and it's, triggered. Even if it's not triggered, honestly, an 8/8 with Wind Fury could really get you out of a jam. But it's okay. It existing definitely makes um, some discovers and things like that a little more relevant. Uh, Paladins can get this on their stupid imbue hero power. So now when they get to 9, they're not just getting only a Ysera, which doesn't do a whole lot for them right off. This is now just gonna they'll just win the game on 9 mana instead of 10 mana dragons, basically. Then we have the 4 mana 4/7 Willful Watcher, taunt, death rattle, destroy the top 3 cards of your deck. I don't see this being that crazy. If it was statted better, I mean, I think that's the whole point, right? Is the death rattle supposed to be a negative, but it's a 4 mana 4/7. I mean, what I don't know what exactly would make this better. 4 mana 7/7. I don't know if that even really works. I think it's just too slow. Just plopping one big thing that doesn't create enough friction, in my opinion. I mean, taunt definitely is helpful, but it's like one big thing never does it, I feel like. And I don't think this is big enough to be that one big thing. Uh, Maybe a 3 mana 4/7. That might be a bit too much. I make it destroy 5 cards, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I just don't think this is going to be all that good. It's it's pretty basically textless, right? Aside from the taunt, it's not going to do anything most of the time, destroying your cards. But sometimes it'll, destroy your one drop that you're not looking for at this point in the game. Sometimes it'll destroy, the perfect card for your your curve next turn. Sometimes it'll destroy your win condition. You never really know, but sometimes it'll do nothing. Sometimes it'll be a pain. All right, now it's time to get into the mage cards. We will start off with the Conjured Bookkeeper. It is a 3 mana 2/2 elemental death rattle draw a spell, kindred summon a copy of this. I think this will be decent for the more aggressive elemental decks because you're going to be playing, before on turns before this, you got that little spider elemental dude that draws a card. If you played an elemental before that, I'm pretty sure that costs 2, right? So you plop down a not a fire elemental, but a firefly. I think the firefly elemental, whatever that one's called, the one cost one too. You plop that down, or even that new one we saw, the cinder guy that deals 2 damage on a death rattle. Plop that down on one. Plop the little draw guy down on two. Plop this down on three. You know, this is drawing you spells, keeping the chain going, uh, putting stuff on board. You're playing an aggressive deck, so the more minions you get out there, the better. This helps you get to your burn as well. You also, you get your burn pulled into hand. You don't got to worry about that anymore. You got the reach. Then you aren't drawing that burn next turn now, or well, after you pulled the spells, which means you're likely getting more elementals to keep on the board, uh, keep applying that pressure, and then burn ready to go, hit him in the face as soon as you're able to chip him down. All in all, pretty decent, I'd have to say. Next up is the Relic of Kings. It's 7 mana spell here, no spell school. Discover a spell from any class that costs 8 or more. It costs 1. So this is essentially playing in that costs 8 or more. So it's 8, 9, or 10 cost spell. I guess I can't think of anything that is higher than 10 offhand right now. But so an 8, 9, or 10 cost spell that costs 8 and you don't know what it is, sometimes that could be decent, situationally, not knowing what you're going to get, so you can kind of adapt to the situation a little bit more. But I think, why wouldn't you just want to run, say, a tsunami, say just one that is going to be good. I mean, tsunami used to be better, but the if you could discount it and get like, I'm just trying to think of a spell that really makes this feel great. I mean, you don't want wheel, um, and it's from a different class, from any class. So I guess you could get a mage one too. You could still get that like Sunfire Volley or whatever it's called, which would be a pretty good card to hit. What other spells even are there? Like Sea Shanty, I guess. Get 3/5/5s. I feel like that's not amazing for like to use your entire turn. I don't know. I don't know how this gets there. Maybe you discover this and it feels okay, but I don't know. This just doesn't feel like it. It's a card that does something. Nebula, I guess. That could be good. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't see putting in a random card. Like, I don't know, what if the opponent has a massive board and 5 health, right? And you really just need something that hits face. You'd rather just have, I don't know, a fireball at that point, not just a random expensive spell that just doesn't help you. Next up, you got the Scrappy Scavenger, 1 mana, 1/1 battlecry. Discover a card with cost equal to your remaining mana crystals. Excellent little curve filler card. It only costs 1, So whatever you got remaining, you play this. It reads what you got 3 mana. You play this. It's got a 2 cost card for you. Something you can play right away. When your curve isn't filled out all that great, you just plop this down. It fills it for you. All in all, not too shabby. I think this will be a decent card just in general. The only thing is, it's not really like oh yeah, 1 drop, play it on 1, right? Unless you want a 0 mana card specifically that you can think of. Maybe you're looking for an extra wisp or something like that, so you can draw off of it, or whatever you're thinking. But yeah, I don't see this being like a turn 1 play almost ever. But yeah, I think this is all in all decent. You don't mind hitting it later in a game because you get something big alongside it, right? You might not get a 10 mana card because you're at 10 mana and you draw this, right? But you get a 9 mana card because it's equal to. It's not just something you can play. It's definitely 9 mana, right? If you play this on 10, you use up 1. It's definitely a 9 mana card. All right. So next up, we got the Storage Scuffle. It's a 3 mana arcane spell. Deal 3 damage to a minion, cost 0 if you discover this turn. So they're really going towards a discover package here for sure. I think everything has discovered so far. This is all right, I'd say. I don't think it's bad. It doesn't go face very notably. So I don't know if this is really that good. I mean, 0 mana kill a 3/3 isn't bad by any means. It is using a card. You have to have discovered, but I mean, you're not worried about having the mana to play this after discover because you discover and then this is free, right? So all in all, it's okay. I don't like that it's minion only. Maybe, I mean, that could very well be good for balancing, but I don't think it's going to be all that impactful because of that. Granted, I mean, I don't know why this couldn't hit base. Mage already has a bunch of efficient burn, right? So it's not like it's that crazy. But yeah, so it's okay. If you're going to be discovering a lot, then why not, I suppose. See if it fits into the deck. When you got a few cards left, you're looking for the last couple cards to fill it up, and maybe this lands in there. All right, we got the Story of the Waygate, 2 mana spell here. Reduce the cost of cards in your hand that didn't start in your deck by 1. I don't know how good this is. Um, I'm just trying to think. If you like rewind specific spells, can you set up combos, things like that, right? So because I mean, if you discover a bunch of stuff, sometimes you'll hit the stuff you need. But I'm just wondering if you can set up a specific combo. I mean, mana cheat is always good, right? So you have 10 cards in hand and play this. Now you uh, essentially paid -7 mana for this card, right? So it's not like it's bad by any means, but you have to have a lot of random things, not necessarily random because you can discover, right? And you can kind of choose what you have, but this will reduce the cost of a bunch of stuff that, doesn't necessarily do exactly what you want it to do because you didn't get the best discover every time or what. But, something like rewind, if you hit that a few times, and pull back a specific spell and discount it, I'm just wondering if there's any combos you could do. But yeah, so I think this is going to be seen when with some stuff. I just don't know if it's just strictly goes into a discover package like they're trying to do here. I mean, a cost reduction is always good, but I'm really thinking this will perform better when there's a way to get a specific combo with it. Until then, I think it'll probably see some play because it's a decent card, but it's not really enabling the deck necessarily to win uh, without some sort of combo. All right, moving on to the Mage quest here. Discover 8 cards, and your reward is the Origin Stone. All right, so here's a quick look at what the Origin Stone is. For some reason, I could not get the image, so I can pull it over onto the other screen. But it's a 3 mana 0/8 weapon. After you discover a card, this plays the other options, lose 1 durability. Um, I don't know how great this is. I think it's fun. I just don't know if I mean it's kind of like what's that? spot the difference or something like that, like a no minion deck card where you kind of discover two things, right? And it summons two, I think they're 4 drops, 3 drops, or 4 drops or whatever. Um, but yeah, so that kind of reminds me of this. So you discover something and then it plops some stuff on board. I don't know exactly what this is going to be used for. I think honestly, this would be like a no minion mage type card. It's a good way to get some tempo out, which that deck can do pretty well with just kind of some random like spells that generate minions. But I guess we'll see. I don't know what exactly the use for this is, aside from some fun shenanigans. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but yeah, I don't know what the best use case is for this, and also the condition of discovering 8 cards, right? That's just kind of what you're doing with these decks anyway. Most of the time, you lose a 1 drop, but like unless you're playing like Elemental Mage, which I don't think you're gonna want to try and do this in anyway. I think you're okay with that, right? Because you don't really what's a good 1 cost discover card that you really want to be running? Follow that up with a 7 mana 7/7 Titanographer Osk. I don't know how to pronounce it. So it's gonna gain a random Titan ability in your hand that changes each turn. So the Titans had the 3 abilities linked to them. Think of Yogg. He had the fill your hand with tendrils. He had the steal an enemy minion, and then he had the make enemy minions attack each other, right? So you can get one of those potentially. There was a bunch of Titans, and they all had 3 options. So there's a ton of options that you can get off of this. I think this is mostly bad. Um, so this is gonna be a 7 mana 7/7, right? So not terrible. You plop this down. Let's say you even hit the Yogg thing, right? That makes them attack each other. I guess Yogg might not be the best example because really what you want to do is either steal or clear board, right? So the last option was kind of mediocre, but you don't have the other options, is what I'm getting at. You get the one. So you steal one enemy minion, which is great, but then they deal with it. And then unlike Yogg, right? Yogg, you then had to deal with Yogg because he was going to do something else. He was going to clear your next board. He was gonna, give them value that they really needed because, this is last ditched effort type of play, right? This doesn't feel like it's a mandatory kill, right? So this you play this, it does the one thing. You had to kill Amanthul before he summoned some 6/6s, or 6 drops, and then buffed them and doubled them. You had to kill. There we go. Camera was freaking out, but like you had to kill. Uh, what's the warlock guy's name? Sargeras, right? You had to kill him. He first turn comes in, he eats your whole board, right? And then you're like, oh crap, he's gonna get infinite value off of this guy if I don't do something, right? So then you have to kill them before they can trigger those other effects. This just kind of exists now, right? Um, I just don't see it being as good as a Titan, especially considering it's a similar price, right? So most Titans were what, 7 and up. So I don't see this really being good. They will definitely have some cases where, oh my God, that's the perfect Titan thing right now, but I just don't see it necessarily being consistent by any means, right? I don't see what gets this card to be consistently good. If anything, there's just too many options. Here we got the Unearth Artifacts. It's a 2 mana spell. Summon a random 2 cost minion. If you've discovered this turn, summon a random 4 cost minion instead. So it's just random. And you've discovered, I mean, a 2 mana 4 drop could be okay. I think this is just a little too random. You don't get to discover what that minion will be or anything like that, which might be a little too good if it was. But I mean, I'm thinking your earliest is playing this on turn 3, right? Let's say you discover a card then that costs 1 mana to discover it, let's assume, right? And then you play this. I mean, 1 mana or one turn early on a 4 drop, especially a random one, I don't think that's all that good. Unless you can discover on turn 1 and play this, right? If there was a 0 mana discover card and a coin, I mean, a 4 drop on one would feel pretty decent, but I just don't see this being all that good. I could be wrong, but it doesn't even get triggered by that other card from the so like this, the Origin Stone doesn't even trigger on that, so this right here isn't discovering the minion, so you're not getting the other two options off of your quest reward or something like that. I don't see this one being all that good. Here we got the Vault Breaker. This is a 3 mana 2/4 turtle just opening a door over there. Yeah, his effect is after you discover a card, reduce its cost by one. So I would assume, yeah, so it's reducing it and there's putting it's not like an aura effect where like discovered cards cost one less while this is alive, right? So it's permanent on the reduction, but I think it's okay. I don't know exactly how you want to use it. If you just want to plop it down and make it the opponent kill it, um, and just kind of like hope it gets some value, or if you want to like sit on it and then discover a bunch of things all at once, after you drop this on that turn, I don't know. Cost reduction is almost always good, right? I can't think of a case where it's bad. But yeah, so I just don't know if this is that good though. You're discovering random things. They cost one less, which is good, but is it worth playing this first to get that, right? Or are you better off just playing a primordial glyph that discovers and discounts anyway? Do you need this card at that point? I don't think it's like if you got plenty of discover cards. You got everything you want in a deck, and then you got a couple of slots left. I think you could just pop this in. It's definitely a card you could just kind of toss in there if you needed, card number 29 or 30 or something like that. But oh no, I think it's okay. Next we got the 4 mana 4/5 elemental windswept page turner. After you summon an elemental, deal 3 damage to a random enemy. I think this could be pretty good. Um, especially in an elemental heavy deck. You got this. If it lives, it's amazing, right? And it's summon, not play too. So I don't know if that's necessarily relevant to what Mage does right now, because I feel like I guess if they have that one that summons a copy of itself for each uh turn in a row you've played an elemental, all of a sudden this deals 18 random damage, right? Which is pretty solid. I can't remember how much that card costs, so I think it's 4. So you need 8 mana to pull off something like that. Unless this sticks, obviously. If this sticks, this is gonna do some really good things, I think. But I don't think it's often gonna stick at all. I think this is something an opponent's gonna have to remove. You're gonna have to kind of play it when you need it to do things. But yeah, if this can get comboed with a bunch of minions. Say you got even like say you got your Firefly elemental guys, right? Um, you just kind of you had other 1 drops. You're gonna hold those because you got this in your mulligan, right? You're gonna hold these for turn 6, right? And then all of a sudden you play this, and then you have your 2 little 1 drops, and this thing deals 6 damage. I mean that's not bad. It'll depend on the board state, if they got the opponent's got 3 5s on board, it's gonna feel pretty bad because you can still even trade into this after or whatever. But oh no, I think this is gonna be a must kill if an elemental deck plays it, and at the very least that might buy you a turn because they're trying to take your stuff out anyway. But maybe with an AOE they don't get to kill this and they have to kill this, right? So they kill this instead and leave a few of your other minions up, let you get that chip damage through so you can, finish them off with the burn you got. But yeah, all in all, I think this one's actually pretty solid. I think this one will make appearances in elemental decks, and think it'll be a little frustrating sometimes because those decks can be pretty solid as is, and this will just kind of randomly shoot you just one time. Your opponent will ignore the 4 minions you have, hit you in the face, set you to three, um, and play another elemental. It'll miss your your four minions that hit you right in the face, and you're gonna be a little annoyed. But the rag effect. But yeah, all in all, pretty solid, I think. And that will wrap it up. So if you did enjoy this video, please feel free to like, comment. I don't know what my camera is doing today. Annoying me though. If you did enjoy this video, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll be putting out more videos, trying to keep up with these card reveals. Trying to get some other decks recorded here coming up too. So yeah, pop back in for some more Hearthstone content here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.